USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, I wanted to talk on when you don't like a person's favorite video game, because man, the amount of times where I've talked on a video game and then, because I can think back all the way when I was like in high school, and I have to say like that's when I very first had started experiencing that, because that's when I had started getting into like online gaming, playing games with friends and stuff, because before that, like before 2010, me and my family didn't have Wi-Fi, so I had no way. The only way I could go and play a video game is if I went over to a friend's house and played it. But other than that, it's like I did not have no form of like internet access to connect with my friends via Wi-Fi and stuff. So 2010 comes around, and I remember one of the first few times I experienced that, where I talked about a video game that a friend of mine's that they liked, but I didn't like it. And it's funny how it's one of my favorite video games. I even have a whole channel dedicated to it right now. But anyways, what at the time being Forza Motorsports 3. That was the last Forza game that they had came out with. So Horizon wasn't a thing. Like none of the other Forza's games like after 3 hadn't came out yet. I think 4 might have gotten announced, but it hadn't came out yet. So anyways, the only one that was out was 3. So, and it's crazy, like, that's my favorite Forza game out of all of them and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, I remember my friend, he let me borrow the game, and I, at the time being, like, I was used to games like Midnight Club. I was used to, like, other, like, arcade racing games, like Forza Motorsport. That was the first time I played a game that was like a racing game, at least, that was realistic. Like, I can't think of no other racing games that I played, or at least there was none that I remember. Because yeah, it's like I said, Midnight Club, Mario Kart, like those were my go-to racing games and stuff. So anyways, I remember he let me borrow the game, and he's playing whatever, but I remember we were in a party, and I'm like, an Xbox party, and I'm like, bro, what is this game, man? I'm like, why are the cars so slow? This game, I was like, nah, this is stupid. I hate this game. This game, the cars are slow. It ain't that fun. I'm like, nah, man, I don't like this at all. But the more I played it, the more I became a fan of that game. It got to the point where I was all like, hey, look, bro, I let you have this game for Forza. I'm like, just let me own this game. But I remember, I'm like, nah, because he a fan too and stuff. So I'm like, nah, I can't do that to I can't do that to him, you know? So anyways, of course, I had to do the good old reliable, gather up 1,000 video games, go up to GameStops, get $20 cash, $30 in-store credit, and then, I was able to get Forza Motorsports 3 for myself. And, yeah, man, like, I remember that was, like, one of the, only times, like, that I was locked in on that game. Like, I was playing that game day and night. Like, I remember there was one time where I was playing that game so much, I paused the game, all right? I paused it, went to sleep for a little bit, took me a little power nap, woke back up, played the game all over again. And I was like, fam, usually my thing is this. Usually when I go to sleep, or because this is in the middle of the night, when I go to sleep, I like to just have it where my TV is on whatever channel, preferably MTV, playing ridiculousness. But anyways, yeah, I'm like, I'll keep it on that. And then just go to sleep, fam. And that's the thing, because I don't like sleeping in silence. I don't like when it's quiet and stuff. Like, I'll wake up, and if my TV is, like, off or something's going on, I'm like, nope, gotta turn the TV back on. I'm like, I can't. It's like I need noise to sleep. It's weird. It's really weird, but that's how I am, all right? So, anyways, but yeah, that's how addicted I was to Forza Motorsports. But yes, I remember when I very first played that game, I was talking about it. And my friend, he wasn't upset, But he was like, nah, bro, you can't disrespect the game like that. The game's fun. Like, you just gotta play it. You just gotta, and that's the thing. Like, and you see stuff like that. And then fast forward, like nowadays, like if I'm doing a video where I'm talking about a game or a podcast episode, whatever, talking about a game, people get so upset about it. And I'm like, fam, is it really that serious? Like, all right, my thing is this. Are you losing sleep at night because I'm talking about your favorite video game? Like, is your marriage now ruined because I'm talking about your favorite video game? The way that people be defending video games nowadays, and that's the thing where I'm like, I know people have probably asked, like, has there ever been a time where I heard somebody badmouth a video game that I like? Fam, there's the one game that I've been playing a lot of recently, No Man's Sky. There's people that still badmouth that game, but I'm not going out of my way to, like, if my thing is this, if you had an experience with that game, it's a different experience that I had with the game, but I can relate to you, because there's been times where I'm like, yeah, I have to say just about every video game that exists in this world, I've had a bad experience with it. I've had bad experiences with Forza. I've had bad experiences with No Man's Sky, Call of Duty, Battlefield. You name the game, I've had bad experiences with it. But that's the thing, though. If I do find myself playing more and more and more of that game, eventually I'll like it, or I'll have a newfound respect for it. But that's the thing, though. If it gets to that point where I like it, but then I notice that I'm one of the only few people that do like the game. So, like, yeah, let's say No Man's Sky, for an example. I had to say I'm not one of the only people that like the game, but I had to say that I do like it. Like, I'm not carrying on to, like what I once felt for that game. I'm not carrying it on still to this day. I can say that No Man's Sky is genuinely a good game. But what's, and then that's the thing where it's like, I'll say that, but then, there'll be somebody like, oh, well, this is wrong with it. That's wrong with that. I'm like, okay, and that's fine. You can say all the things that's wrong with that game. I'm still going to play it, so that's why I'm like, I think that people be thinking that, like, when you talk badly about a game, I'm trying to, if I do a video or whatever, some form of content talking bad about a video game, I think what people are thinking when they hear me saying whatever is that I'm trying to change their mind. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to change your mind. If you still want to play this game, I'm not going to take that away from you. You just won't see me playing the game. And that's the thing, like, you can't even have that, like, so the one game that I'm like, where the audience, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a fan base where I'm like, you guys are toxic. But anyways, X4 Foundations. Yes, I've talked on this game quite a few times, but man, I had to say out of all the fan bases, like Call of Duty, I know they got a crazy fan base. I'm trying to think of some other games out there that got like a wild fan base where I done got into it with them and stuff. Not so well, Call of Duty, I haven't really gotten into it with the fans of Call of Duty. I think everybody knows, like, yeah, Call of Duty, games like that, NBA 2K, I'm trying to think of some other games like Ubisoft. I know some of their games, like, you don't really see too many people from their fan bases of their games and stuff going off on people for talking about their game. There's at times when people are agreeing with you. They were like, nah, bro, relatable. I'm like, they were like, oh, I put thousands of hours into this game, but I related to everything that you said. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. All right, well, anyways. But, nah, man, X4 Foundation. So I had got into space simulators some time ago, and X4 Foundations was a game that I stumbled across, but it's one of those games where I'm like, the way that they went about it, having it where the tutorial, it's definitely going to take you more than 2 hours to figure it out. What else? The game, it's like, it's difficult. It's not one of those games where it's like, it has like an easy, medium, hard. Like, no, they just have it on like, you're going to have the most challenging experience that you can possibly think of with this game, all right? Comparing it to other games, like, let's say, yeah, No Man's Sky, for an example. I'm telling you, I would rather play No Man's Sky in the state that it was in back in 2016 than to step foot back into the X4 Foundation universe and stuff. Because, man, very first playing the game, you thinking like, okay, this game's going to be amazing. This game's going to be good. But then as you play it, and I don't know, maybe I just got to play it more. But it's one of those things where I'm like, dang, how long do I have to play it before I get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm having fun now. Like, what was crazy was that, so with No Man's Sky, I started all over in that game because I remember I did play that game on PlayStation. I don't think I have my, because I don't think it was like something that got saved to like a database to where the next time I start the game up on PlayStation, that I'll be able to continue where I last left off at. No, I start the game all over. But it's crazy because, like, they don't have it where you're going through some extensive tutorial. But even if it's on some stuff where it's like you just want to explore the game, or if you want to have the easiest experience, or you want to have the most difficult experience, the thing is this: they don't have it set up on some stuff where it's like you gotta go through all these challenges first. No, they're all like, you want to have an easy experience? Fine, cool, you can have that. You play that game however you want to play that game, because guess what? The game is yours at the end of the day. So that's why I'm like, yeah, you know, you would think that that's how a lot of developers would see their games. But you got some developers out there where they're like, nah, we want you to have the most difficult, challenging experience possible. You can't argue about it. You can't have no ill feelings about it and any of this other stuff. You have to have the experience that we are providing you. And I'm like, fam, that is not how you go about gaming. If you come, my thing is this, you come out with a video game, you need to have it set up where it's like a person that plays that game, they can have whatever form of fun that they want to have with it. But if it's on some stuff where it's like I gotta watch a bunch of different YouTube tutorials on how to figure out that game, read all these different forums, do this, do that, I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to do all that. When I play a game, I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to play a game and get through whatever it is that I'm getting through. But if I gotta do all this extra stuff, and then it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, look, bro, do not be upset if I start bad-mouthing your game. And that's what had happened. I was like, I played X4 Foundations. It got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this game because I'm having to keep constantly go back and forth from the tutorial to the game, to the tutorial to the game, to YouTube back to the game, to Reddit back to the game, to some other article. And then I'm like, bro, can I just play this game in peace? That's one thing, and I think a lot of people don't understand is that when you're playing a game, it's like, I'm just trying to play a game. I'm not trying to have it where I'm going back and forth from place to place trying to figure out how to play the game, and I'm like, what are you guys doing to it to where you're not developing it properly to where I got to sit down and talk about it and then look up all this different stuff about just trying to figure out how to play X4 Foundations. Oh man, you know, the times where I was talking about that game, people were getting upset. And I'm like, bruh, you know what? I ain't even gonna fool around with this game no more. I ain't gonna do no streams on it. I'm not gonna do no. And so what was crazy was that I actually had it planned that I wanted to download that game just more so for creative reasons. Because I think they did say that there's a feature in there where you can create a spaceship. So I was like, all right, or like a station, whatever. But anyways, it was like I was going to use it for that reason. The fans, they couldn't let it go. And I still, to this day, I get comments from people talking about, getting upset with me on how I talked about or criticized that game. And I'm like, bruh, let it go. It's at the end of the day, I'm not ruining your life on what I'm saying about the game. But if I've upset you on what I said, most likely there's something that I said about that game that's true. You might not want to admit to it, but I'm going to admit to it. So, but yeah, I'm like, man, it trips me out though. I'm like, bro, it shouldn't be that serious. But yeah, you just got some people out there where it's like they wanna debate you, they wanna argue with you, I'm like, I'm not here for all that. Whatever you plan on saying, it's still not gonna change how I feel about the game. So yeah, it's like, you got some people out there where it's like they hear stuff like that, but they still want to sit around and argue with you and stuff. But yeah, man, and that's just something where it's like talking to that audience. It's like, fam, you can still play the game at the end of the day. There's just going to be some people out there that don't like it. But what my question is why do you find yourself, or how did you find yourself watching my video of me criticizing the game versus you just playing the game? Because that's one thing about it. I'm like, if there's a game that I like, I'm not looking for no negative content. And so that was the one thing I remember where it was with this racing game called Hot Lap Racing. And there was people where I remember cracking jokes about it, and I said, I find it silly. I'm like, look, core game, or the gameplay, it's a racing game. So really, at the end of the day, it's like you're not really. I guess if there's something wrong with the racing aspect of the game, that's when you start criticizing. Because with me, when I was criticizing X4 Foundations, I was criticizing the gameplay. I wasn't criticizing the visuals. Yeah, visually the game looks amazing, but gameplay wise, I'm like, nah, the developers went about that all wrong. So, but that the funny thing is, there's been people in that fan base of X4 or just the X series and stuff where they've agreed with the stuff that I've said. And so I'm like, if you got, and there's been people, I remember there was the one dude that was, he said he's been playing that game, I think, since like the first one or second one or something like that. Just, he's been playing it a lot longer than I have. Let's just say that. But yeah, he was all like, yeah, bro, he was like, everything you said, I agreed with. And I'm like, okay, there's somebody, this guy's a whole fan of the game, and he's agreeing with me. But anyways, talking about Hot Lap Racing. So, I remember when that game had came out, Hot Lap Racing. I bought it because I was like, then I went because I was going through a phase where I wanted to play me some racing games. So anyways, I'm looking at the reviews because I'm like, I'm curious about this game. Like, is this game good and stuff? I look at one review, and it was of a person talking about they didn't like how the trees looked in that game. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I get if you're criticizing the gameplay. Are you playing the game for the trees, or are you playing the game for the racing part of the game? Because I'm like, bruh, did you not play PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, even PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games? Yeah, OG Xbox games. I'm saying, like, if you look at some, bro, I remember, and that was like one of the main reasons why I had stopped playing the very first Forza Motorsport. I stopped playing it on my original Xbox and start playing it on my 360 because it looks so much better. But that's the thing, though. If that wasn't the case, and I still had to play that game, because there was another game I remember playing off of the original Xbox where I can't play it on the 360, but still, though, I'm like, if the gameplay was bad, I would have not played that game. But since the gameplay was good, I'm like, bruh, that was actually a good game. I'm like, man, I wish that they would up the graphics, but it don't look like they're going to. It don't look like they're going to remaster that game. So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna just have to play that game on the console that it was put out for. But that's the thing, though. I'm like, it's stuff like that where I'm like, it doesn't bother me if a game looks bad, so that's why I'm like, my thing is this, and just same with Forza Motorsport. If I wasn't able to play that game off of the 360, I would have continued playing that game on the Xbox, the original Xbox and stuff. But I'm like, and that's the thing where I'm like, I'm okay with that. Visual stuff don't matter to me. I'm like a game, because I'm like, yeah, No Man's Sky, there's at times where you see stuff in there where I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. But then there's other times where I'm like, hey, yo, visually, this game looks nice. Comparing it to other games, yeah, there's some games I've seen where they look slightly better. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, though, I'm like, whatever a person says, I'm like, it's one of those things. Okay, so talking on the person with the trees and stuff, I'm like, I would have to say that was like the one time where I'm like, okay, if you are going to criticize a game, at least make the criticism like, worth reading and stuff. I like, the funny thing is just at times where I'm like, I'll see stuff like that and I'm like, didn't know this, wasn't paying attention to that, I guess, because it's just not something worth paying attention to when there's the core game, the racing aspect of the game. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. So, but yeah, overall, though, it still didn't stop me from playing Hot Lap Racing. I still continued playing that game until it got to a point where I rage quit and I just said, I ain't even going to fool with this game no more. But anyways, I'm like, nah, man, it's just certain things where I'm like, okay, yeah, talk on it. But then there's other times where I'm all like, bro, keep it to yourself. But yeah, and I'm like, and I should follow that advice myself too. I'm like, whatever it is, I just need to keep it to myself. But I guess with me, I'm like, it's something where I'm like, yeah, I just stuff, it eats at me, and I gotta talk on it. I guess maybe that might have been the same situation with the guy with the trees and Hot Lap Racing, but I'm like, come on, bruh. Is it really preventing you from playing the racing game? Like, come on now. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.